Since God is for himself, over and above being for you, there are two huge pieces that we need to really get our soul around for the sake of our own joy. All right, here's the first one. Since God is for God and God is ultimately about the praise of his glorious grace, look at me. God is not after my begrudging submission, but after my joy. God is ferociously about my joy because the more I enjoy him, the more his grace is gloried in. So God's not after me going, oh, I better do what he says or he'll send me to hell. Hell isn't a place, or heaven isn't a place for people who are afraid of hell. It's a place for people who love God. It's not the same. So God wants me to enjoy him. And so look at me, because this is the one that throws people off. That's why he gives me the law. So we talk bad about the law in our day. Talk about the law and those Pharisees, those law doers. Listen, the law was delight. Didn't David lay on his bed and just sing about the law? Didn't he say that? Didn't he stay awake late at night? Couldn't even sleep. He's just delighting in the law of the Lord. Now I'll tell you why. Since God is for God and God is not after your begrudging submission, all the commands of God are meant to lead you into greater life and greater joy and to line you up with how he designed things to work rather than your way, which doesn't work. All right, so when God says, this is how marriage works, that's not a suggestion. He's not trying to bully anybody. He's going, look, I made the thing. I get it. I know how this works because catch this, it was my idea. And so when he does that with sex and he does that with money and he does that with rest and he does that, God's going, here's how I designed it to work. And greater life, John 10:10, is found in your obedience to how I wired the universe to work rather than how you think the universe can work when he's already established that you're a bit of a, forgive me, moron. Right? I mean, is anybody a worse enemy to you than you are? Has anyone lied to you more than you've lied to you? Anyone broken promises to you more than you've broken promises to you? No, you're the problem. And what we see is that God's law leads us into life. Now, here's what I know is happening. All right, I've been a pastor a long time. I'm a preacher, but I'm also a shepherd. I love my people like Stephen loves the people of Elevation and see. And so ultimately, here's what I know is happening. Like I know some of you right now are going, well, he doesn't know my wife. I'm married crazy. I guarantee if he knew my husband, my wife, he knew what was going on in my work, he knew my financial situation, then he would have added an appendice to the back of the book with my name in it. And let me encourage you this way. Really? Really? How about we take that marriage to the crazy spouse and let's move it over to the picture of what it's supposed to be, Christ and his church. Who's the crazy one in that relationship? And yet I see one being unbelievably faithful. So the reason why we run into the commands of God with joy is because we believe that they're leading to greater life, leading to greater joy. We've pushed all our chips in and we delight in the law of the Lord. Now, you're not going to keep that law perfectly, which brings us to our second and biggest implication of God being about God. If God is about God, look right at me, then you are not the center of the universe. Now breathe out, breathe out. All right, let me press a little bit. Almost all the conflict in your life is predicated and built upon your belief that the world's about you. The reason you get angry in traffic is because the world's about you. Get out of the left lane. The reason why there's conflict in your marriage is because the world's about you. So your spouse had better be doing these things. Why? Because the world's about you. Why are you in conflict at work? Because the world's about you. How dare they say that to you? How dare they do that? How dare they take that from you? How dare they not give you the honor you're due? See, you see what's happening? It's about you. And the more the world's about you, the more angry and tired you'll be. And the more it's not about you, the more free you are. So listen, if ultimately when I come home, my marriage is about Jesus Christ, and there is a grace there, there's a forgiveness there, there's a patience there, and there is a mercy there. If my marriage is not about the gospel of Jesus Christ, but rather is about me, then there's expectation there. Isn't there? I mean, there's some things that better be done. I don't want to hear that, woman. That's what happens if it's about me. It's about me. I start talking about my happiness and what I'm doing, what I'm owed. Or my wife does, but if it's about him, then I'm free. If my money's about him, then I'm free. If pastoring this church, proclaiming the gospel is about him, then I'm free.